Hi there, it's me, Mex. So, this is going to be a little different, but anyone who's been following this channel for any extensive period of time knows I stick really to no medium, no format, no real rules. Is this a meme channel, video essay channel, music video channel, vlog channel? The answer is yes. It's one of the channels of all time. But with that said, that looseness comes with benefits. Say I have a weird little brainchild like I want to do today and want to talk about something different in a different format. That's what this channel's for. So I'm going to bring up a buried artifact here. I used to be a music reviewer. I mean, I definitely watched Too Much Channel Awesome at the time and had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But in 2014, I had this show called Radio Recall where I talked about top 40 music. And after only 7 episodes, including a 4 year-end countdowns, I decided it wasn't for me. But that didn't stop me from sharing my feelings on music I liked over the years, so this year I tried an experiment on Twitter called Bolt Listen To, where I would discuss albums I would do full cover-to-cover listens of and briefly review them on Twitter. I wanted to kind of bring that here to wrap up 2022, so I compiled a list of my 50 favorite songs throughout the year. Now hold up, that's my favorite songs of 2022, not songs that came out in 2022, just songs I happen to enjoy the most in 2022. So with that said, I have one rule. Note going into this that I've actually kept little playlists at the end of each year of my favorite songs of that respective year that I would actively update throughout that respective year, as I've always felt it's a great little way to revisit the year in spirit. The rule is, if it made one of those previous year-end lists, even though you guys haven't seen those lists, I am personally disqualifying it from being placed here, just because my OCD would kill me if I didn't clarify that, and also if I decide to make this a thing going forward, I wouldn't want the redundancy of having the same songs make it multiple years in a row, because that would just kind of be pointless. With that said, here's the songs that missed out on the list from that rule. Go Small by Seaman. Sweet Time by Porter Robinson. Untitled by Eden. Warm Blood by Floor. Endless Skies by VNV Nation. Citadels by Galt Orient. Don't Take Me Seriously by Flashlights. Understand again, this is my personal list. Some of my takes are inexcusable and definitely going to get me canceled. And note, yes, I have primary tastes, and I'm sorry to say that there's not much of the way in hip-hop or rap, or even pop for that matter, let alone your top 40 stuff, so this will likely be extremely unique to me, filled with obscure acts and deep cuts, and hey, maybe you'll discover something new that you like. Now, that's not to say I'm dismissive of the genres I mentioned a minute ago, though I do admit to not actively seeking them out quite as much, as the genres don't generally stick with me quite as much as my comfort zone ones do, you know? Anyways, let's dive right into my 50 favorite songs of 2022. Number 50, Oldest Daughter by The Wonder Years. The Wonder Years is one of those bands I wish I could love more than I do. Suburbia was just okay for me, but this band has never been one to grip me melodically, but has come oh so close a time or two. This is one of those cases where Dan Campbell's vocals carries the song through a ton of tension and emotion, which is a real treat, and if pop punk is your thing, please check this out. Number 49, Perfect Words by Tenant from Zero.
Why couldn't the perfect words say?
It's the sax. The sax brought this here. Thank you, Spectrum Pulse, for this beautiful piece of sophistopop that I would have otherwise missed. But let's be real, Paul Dara's ethereal, almost dreamlike vocals match up with the mood and melt into the rhythm. I can only give Mark so much credit. Give this a listen. Number 48, Hey Ma by Bon Iver. With maybe the exception of Holocene and the collab with Taylor Swift, I have never found all that much from Bon Iver that's interested me over the years. But again, thanks to Mark, yes, this will be a common theme here, I found this emotionally resonant and cutting slow burn from him that really hit me early on this year. Avery's lyrics, however, can sometimes feel a little overwritten in their pretense, but that aside, this is a really good song. Worth hearing. Number 47, Lost My Cool by Stand Atlantic. Man, I had such high hopes for this band with the new album this year, and I was disappointed when the thing came out. So Stand Atlantic has 2 songs in my top 50 this year, and neither of them are from FEAR. In fact, after Pink Elephant impressed me so much, I went and listened to their first album, and yeah, it's also good. This track, with that biting sarcasm in the hook and Bonnie Fraser's powerhouse of a voice, this is one of their best. And it rocks. Number 46, Anniversary by Tiger's Jaw. In the world of indie alternative, it feels like it's a dime a dozen, and you'll occasionally find something interesting or compelling. This band is one of those gems. From the fuzz of the guitar to Ben Walsh's dynamic voice, this song is just a straight up groove, and if you go and listen to it, I hope you'd feel the same way. Number 45, Come Hang Out by AJR. I don't think I have any way to justify this. It's not good, it's not sonically pleasing, it's jarring theatercore at its most egregious and obnoxious. But goddamn can it deliver a punch. That burst into the final chorus on the album is really captivating, and the unsureness on the repetition of I'll be there next time delivers a bit of bittersweet solace. You may not agree, but this one stuck with me. Number 44, Brothers by Gang of Youths.
Painful memories, a bunch of shit he never shared.
Deep into the masterpiece of an album, Angel in Real Time, we get this soft piano ballad delivered with a raw earnestness by David Lopepe as he reflects on how his late father, who he was very close to, was not a perfect person, was unfaithful to his wife, lied about his age and heritage, and even had a few kids that David didn't even meet until later in his life. I think the most cutting lyric here for me is, I hate myself for stealing all his love when my brothers thought that he was dead. It's heavy, but it's extremely touching. Please give this a chance. Number 43, New Detroit by Tiger's Jaw. My favorite cut from the album, but not by much. I often confuse this one with Anniversary from how similar it sounded, but the fuzz on the guitar delivers a much better punch here in my opinion. Another great track from one of my favorite discoveries of 2022. Number 42, The Mind Electric by Miracle Musical. Okay, so remember how I called AJR theatercore? I take it back. I didn't really know what to make of this fascinating and eclectic project at first, but ultimately it boiled down to just one track that stuck with me, the almost avant-garde Mind Electric, which begins with the entirety of the song played in reverse. It's eerie, it's messy, it's glitched to hell, and when it picks up into a groove and rhythm, it's worth every second. You may need the album's context to fully grasp this, but man is it good. Number 41, The Burial by Seeming.
God will bury you, nature will bury you.
Alright, so this guy, who I also discovered thanks to Mark, surprised the hell out of me with his ability to consistently write catchy hooks, but still hasn't caught on beyond a very small scope of fans. This one came from his 2014 mixtape, and it's bleak, all about the nihilistic viewpoint of essentially the humans being the virus to the nature of the earth. It's dark, but delivered in a somewhat approachable and hella catchy way. Check this out. Number 40, Netflix Trip by AJR. This band is just a hate crush. Again, I can't justify this, nor can I defend it, but to explain why I like it boils down to the fact that the chorus is just damn catchy, man. The album is the manufactured product of an AI telling you what Zoomers who don't like rap want to listen to. Honestly though, this one just boils down to Ryan's vocal delivery and the bombast in the hook. It's shallow, it's shrill, but I found it somewhat charming. Give this a try, if you dare. Number 39, Breaking Point by Fell From the Tree. A deep cut from the Enough album, Hannah continues to paint a picture of her transition experience through emotionally resonant vocal performances, with a wonderfully subdued and quiet hook delivery on this one. It's tragic, but it's so real. Check this out. Number 38, Low Tide by The Wonder Years. The second and final Wonder Years entry on this list, and only the superior of the two because of the outro on it, which can only be called a melodic expression of crippling depression with lyrics like, "I keep making lists of shit to tell my therapist, reasons I wish I didn't exist," and "I'm staring at the dust that's gathered on the fake plants, I've given up, I can't keep the real thing living." This is not an easy listen, but it kicks ass nonetheless. Give it a shot. Number 37, Modern Warfare by Eden. I was so close to enjoying In Case You Missed It, but I couldn't quite get there. That said, this album did produce more individually interesting tracks as compared to his previous being oftentimes monotonous and droning with an occasional moving or interesting moment. This being his first single off the album, this was an interesting introduction to his more experimental electronic R&B with the same earnestness that created his identity, and it definitely is worth checking out. Number 36, Take Me As I Am by The Strike. Another one of my favorite musical discoveries of the year has to be this Utah-based band which uses influences of synthwave and synth-pop of the early 90s and late 80s to create a vast, explosive soundscape. This was a late addition into the year, and it sucks to put it this low as a result, because it might just be one of my current favorites. Number 35, Headspace by Charlie Adams and Rustin Kelly. If Closer by the Chainsmokers represents everything ugly and gross about two stupid kids falling in love, this represents a refined mixture of both the beauty and the pain. With a sophisticated musical palette, a hauntingly beautiful vocal performance by Charlie Adams and Rustin Kelly, especially in the harmonies, and the subtle guitar pickup in the dramatic moments, this earns its place here as a treat wrought with joy and heartbreak alike. Number 34, Beyond These Walls by Michael J. Woodward. While AJR wears the badge of honor as my guiltiest pleasure of 2022, this might be equally as perplexing, as this is a song from an animated film called Arlo the Alligator Boy, the music on which had no right to be as good as it is. But let's be real, the magic of this track in particular is that reverb build-up to the first hook, where Michael switches to his higher register, and it's indescribably beautiful, almost ethereal, and honestly, while the rest of the song is great, that moment alone got this onto the list. Sometimes you just have to give a nod to the smallest of excellent moments if it hits you as hard as this one did, and hopefully it will for you too. Number 33, Big Shot by Floor. This is not the last entry you'll see from Future Shine, but a lot of people have called this the album's high point. While not my absolute favorite off the album, Big Shot is arguably the hardest the band has ever gone, with much heavier focus on the guitar pickup and percussion, and Zach Grace delivering his heaviest vocals to date. Again, not my favorite off the album, we'll get to that later, but a treat nonetheless. Number 32, Midnight by Creeper. Y'all, take a note. This is how to write a punk song about sex. The gorgeous piano intro eases you in for the roller coaster ride to that enormous and infectious chorus. Another track I credit Mark for the introduction to, but you can't deny quality when you hear it. This rocks. Number 31, Hard Times by Guster. These are hard times. I've always had such a massive conflict with Guster because while Center of Attention is among my 25 favorite songs of all time, Do You Love Me makes me want to scalp myself from hearing it working retail for 12 years. In the middle we have this, an ultimately safe, unimpactful cut from Look Alive. So why is it here? It grew on me hardcore, and this list was tabulated partially from play count. I just never really wanted to skip this track. And honestly, the higher register harmonies where the percussion falls and thuds back in for the latter half of the hook never fails to get me engrossed. It's mood music. Good stuff. Number 30, Crave by Tristram. We all crave, we all crave. I almost excluded this because I've been listening to this track since 2020, but I put it back on my favorites playlist for a couple of months this year because, goddamn, can you blame me? It might be a little antiquated, but for those in the electronic scene, I can only call this a journey. But even that would be downplaying this. Number 29, Ferret Without Any Whiskers by I've Made Too Much Pasta. Alright, you probably bit. Is this a joke? Actually, yes, it's a comedy album. But I always felt this album closer was different. It being the longest off the album, and ultimately not only the most songful off the album, but the most sincere and genuine as well. If you know the context of the album, you'd go in expecting his accordion, some guitar, and some laughs. So why is this one different? Well, let's ask frontman Scuro himself. I wrote it originally for my previous band, but we broke up before we ever got to learn it. And I had wrote the accordion riff even before that. So the whole thing is an old mush of previous stuff put together. He wanted to say how this song is, in a nutshell, about how things used to be good, but they are no longer are. Sorry kid, you were born too late. But it's not just the meaning, it's the amazing accordion riff, the way the percussion kicks in like a deranged circus in the best way possible, and the emotional payoff in the vocals on the chorus. I can't expect everyone else to enjoy this like I did, but I'm not gonna lie that I like it, and I can give it my recommendation. Number 28, The Bells of Lioness by Subsignal. Once again, I feel like I'm underselling this song by putting it this low, but this one likewise popped up later in the year. What this reminds me of is somewhere between Bruce Dickinson by way of Tears of the Dragon or Dream Theater at their most melodic. Give this song a shot, it's my favorite off the album. Number 27, Lookers by the Menzingers. Sometimes it's hard to look back on the past and feel like you missed a massive opportunity, but man does this make it sound so good. There's a lot to praise here, but I don't think the words I can't find could do this justice as opposed to hearing it for yourself. Number 26, Someone Somewhere by Def Havana and Eider. Def Havana put out what could be considered hands down their best album to date. Sifting through waves of heartbreak, loss, and depression, the project is packed with some of the best hooks of the year. The entire song is just one huge build-up, navigating ebbs and flows of recollection and what-ifs to an incredible payoff, and it's so worth checking out. Number 25, The Kingdom Is Within You by Gang of Youths. Honestly, this is just an objective masterpiece. While I can acknowledge its technical beauty, and it was one of my early favorites off Angel in Real Time with its incredible chorus and backing strings, it still isn't my favorite off the album, and we'll get to that later. It's one of the most uplifting tracks on the album, and man is it good. Number 24, Copper Tank Island by Fair to Midland. Consider this a likely farewell from me to Fair to Midland. And while the band may take up 3 entries among my top 100 favorite songs of all time, a band I consider my favorite of all time, and they absolutely defined my latter high school years, this might be what I consider the last time I can put a Fair to Midland song on repeat like I did with this one this past spring. The band went defunct in 2013 and has shown no signs of being able to regroup. This song, with Dara Sutter's folktale-inspired lyricism and eclectic vocals, has never failed to impress me. And that came to a peak this year. This kicks ass. Number 23, The Sound of Muzak by Porcupine Tree. The oldest song on this year's list, and it's not even remotely close. This deeper cut from In Absentia and its hypnotic melody, almost synonymous with the subject matter, really did it for me early this year. A deserved classic. Number 22, Bawling by Eden.
Can't bring me sweet dreams, how strange is it when
Narrowly missing this year's top 20 is the clear standout for me from In Case You Missed It. Snippets of glitched autotunes, spare and subtle instrumentation, and Eden's somber vocals create a scene and mood that a lot of others can't match. Check this out. Number 21, Chinatown by Bleachers featuring Bruce Springsteen. The reverb-heavy lo-fi production and the incredible vocals make this track an instant classic. Bleachers finally created the perfect sound for me. Phenomenal work. And now entering the top 20, starting off with Speed Living by The Growler. This is what I wish Cage the Elephant sounded like. An infectious chorus and a fantastic percussion. But that's before we get to the bridge with the guitar solo. Careful, if you give this a listen, you might also find it very contagious. Number 19, Abandoned Mansions by Jay Robbins. Alright, so this only has 22,000 Spotify plays, so yeah, we should get on that. You can't deny a good, powerful hook from a killer alt-rock act that deserves far more credit. Reminiscent of some of the less visceral and more melodic tracks from ASG, if anyone's familiar. A slept-on gem. Give it a listen. Number 18, Every Night by Floor. I mean, is anyone surprised that the late release bonus track, which turns out to be a remaster of one of the band's early works, stuck with me immediately? As you can tell by now, I'm a sucker for a good, powerful, catchy chorus and a good falsetto, and this has both. If you can navigate the first 15 seconds, which admittedly are some of the most stock footage sounding commercial core on the album, you might find an energetic pop-punk track worth salvaging. Number 17, Love You 3000 by Mushroom. I considered not including this one at all, because the way I tabulated this gave a lot of weight to play count, and this I played a lot. Why? Mood music. It sets a mood and feeling without any lyrics. I'm not immune to experiencing music through the instrumentation alone, of course, so here it is, and I'm standing by it. Number 16, The Other Side of Paradise by Glass Animals. Baby blue, I wish you could see them. It's the Heatwaves Band, a song that I think everyone is sick of by now. But Glass Animals is fascinatingly eclectic and just otherworldly in a lot of ways. But I think frontman Dave Bailey is at his strongest here, creating a vivid picture of losing one's head in fame and fortune, and the pain instilled in others as a result. Which, if y'all know me, y'all know how deep it's gonna sit with me, right? Glass Animals has always struck me as AJR if they were melting. And honestly, melting AJR creates a much better atmosphere than regular AJR. You can keep your dreamland though. I'll stay here in paradise. Number 15, Toothpick by Stand Atlantic. This doesn't burn, I'm staring at the sun. Although I can say Pink Elephant is the stronger album, this deep cut from Stand Atlantic's first album was so emotionally resonant and immediately stood out to me. With Stand Atlantic's classic self-aware lyrics that straddle the line of meta or breaking the fourth wall, this time coupled with a stripped-back and acoustic production, which Bonnie Fraser sings over in tragic, devastating quiet. It's an emotional moment that's allowed to play out, and is absolutely phenomenal at it. Number 14, You're My Friend by Flashlight. I listened to the other Flashlights album, and this song is 84 seconds long. I mean, there's not much to say. It's shoegaze noise punk at its most raw, visceral, and brief. It's loud, it's melodic, it has sections and no real chorus, but man does it bite. Number 13, BBNE by McKinley Dixon featuring Teller Banks. Awesome, I'm awesomely awful, no more and more me cause, breaking up the rock dominance that's been prevalent in my favorites throughout my whole life, we have an emotional roller coaster of a jazz rap track from Georgia rapper McKinley Dixon. An incredible story that relates the struggle of keeping yourself and your family afloat in the black community while maintaining your faith in God. It's certainly not an easy listen, but god damn does it hit hard. Number 12, Circle 9 by Galt Aureus. Get ready, we're going to talk a lot about this band. Let's start here with this 2019 single. I've always loved Saher Galt's vocals, but his chilling delivery on the chorus here absolutely delivers all the punch it needs. A lesser-known cut from a shamefully obscure band. Give this one a try. Number 11, In the Wake of Your Leave by Gang of Youths. Here we have it, the big single from Angel in Real Time, and for a good reason. The synthesized vocals on the beginning evolving into an incredible string section, coupled with the percussion, paint a magical picture, then eventually explode into a timeless hook that showcases David Leopepe's higher, more punk-leaning register. You couldn't have picked a better song from this album to release as a single. And now for the top 10. Number 10, Everything Goes On by League of Legends and Porter Robinson. Yeah, you thought this one would be higher, huh? Yeah, it was a good year. Minus that annoying League of Legends name drop on the title, this is a Porter Robinson at its core, and remains true to that at heart. An emotionally charged hook and vast, resonant blend of synth and piano. And if y'all know my most played artist of the last decade, you'd see why I truly believe Porter is in a league of his own. Number 9, Victorious Cupid by Pure Reason Revolution. Introducing you to my favorite new discovery from this year, this band's sound and style can be linked back to things like Porcupine Tree or something within that scope of sound. But this band has a sound and identity all its own, owning some of the best harmonies and backing vocals in the prog genre that I think I've heard. But the best part of the song? The brief moment of silence after the bridge swiftly building back and crashing into the last chorus. It's such an intense moment, and I can't help but find myself immersed every single time. Number 8, The Armada by Galt Aureus. This year I finally, a decade removed from my initial discovery of our own Versailles and Citadels, went back and listened through this album. And I'd put it among my 10 or so favorites that I heard throughout the year. And to those of y'all who had followed my Twitter, that's against over 100 albums. One thing this band can do better than many others is set a scene. This is essentially an action fantasy come alive. Give this one a try. I'm sure it's an adventure you won't forget. Number 7, Black Morning by Pure Reason Revolution. The strangest thing sometimes about new music is how you discover it. This one I went to a Spotify radio station based on the aforementioned Coppertank Island, and it introduced me to my proudest discovery of the year. Again, this band just has phenomenal harmonies, and the trio have such chemistry to set a scene and write an infectious hook. An overlooked band, an incredible song. Check this out. Number 6, Dress by Fell From the Tree. So imagine the opposite of Breaking Point, a quiet and subdued set of verses that illustrate the mental struggle of going to a party wearing a dress, but not feeling confident yet that she can pass. But when the chorus gets going, you can feel the release, the euphoria of her feeling like her true self. A song with many layers and many twists and turns. Absolutely beautiful. Number 5, Play Along by Floor. This song illustrates the wanton feeling of missing childhood in such an emotionally resonant and bombastic way, with one of the tightest songs lyrically by the band to date, and one of my favorite choruses of the year. Fantastic work. Number 4, Dead Butterfly by Pure Reason Revolution. As many have said, this was a return to form from the band, which tells me I jumped aboard at one of the best times. A hauntingly melodic chorus that, again, just succeeds in its harmonies and chemistry between the singers. But it goes further than that, adding in a shredding instrumentation bridge before exploding back into the final chorus. There's debate whether or not this is among their best albums, but I debate that this might be their best track. Number 3, 8 by Galt Aureus. Over the place and feel you I know. Track 8 from Citadels, and it may as well be called Untitled because it fits all the emotional angst and reflection common in songs bearing that moniker. This soft, piano-led ballad leans more heavily on Sahar Galt's vocal performance, and my god does he knock it out of the park. The feeling of memories of times past while revisiting an old home captured flawlessly. One thing I want to comment here, this chorus sounds nearly identical to a song called Hey Now by Augustana. I'd argue this to be the superior track, however, and it's not even close. Number 2, Miles Ahead by The Stripe. This is where objectively better goes out the window and personal opinion shines through. But if y'all remember how crazy in love I was for Safe and Sound by Capital Cities, this should come as no surprise. A fantastic synthwave track that perfectly encapsulates the era's immersiveness and charm, and the vocals on this track, especially in the back half of the chorus, shot this straight towards the top of my list throughout the spring. So, what could be better? Honorable mentions. 2020 by Eden.
No hindsight in 2020. Got my side check that's precious to me.
The Deepest Sighs, The Frankest Shadows by Gang of Youth. Move with Purpose by Said the Sky.
Other than what you wanted to, I could show you how to.
Circling the Drain by Microwave. Black and Gold by Galt Orius. Things That Would Have Been Helpful to Know Before the Revolution by Father John Misty.
City.
Number 1, The Way We Talk About a Song by Floor. There's something to be said about a song's reception among the general public versus its connection with you. And in the year of our Lord 2022, what I needed to hear was a song about how everything is going to be okay if you can just focus on the soul of your passions, that burnout is temporary, and that going back to your roots is essential to find the purpose in what you do. And if any of you know how my 2022 went early on this year, you can see how bringing things back to where we started all hit all my weak points, and later on rang true for so many reasons. I can understand why some might discard this as boring or just passable, but to me, it's the best damn thing I heard this year. Well, that's the list. Disagree? Tough cookies, it's my list. Want to share your own? Please feel free in the comments. And hey, while you're at it, if you want to donate to keep me making more videos of varying topics across my YouTubes, there's a link to my Ko-Fi, PayPal, and Cash App in the pinned comment. You can also catch my streams. I stream Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday generally. Sometimes my schedule might vary, but usually it starts around 8 p.m. On Twitch. We do all kinds of different stuff. That link's in there as well. But hey, this was fun, guys. It's nice to just get to be myself and not have to worry about what's objectively good and bad and just go with what I feel. And with that said, here's to a great 2023, and I'll catch y'all on the other side.